That was it. Oh, yeah, Butler City and the big run, actually. And there's a big one up in north of the county. Solomon Shank. You do have to have a big drain so that the smaller ones can feed into it, which is
Mom and dad are
totally true.
people right.
But that's, I agree. Let's clean up the books. They don't need to be on maintenance, then they don't.
Take the bucket or
Do keep them that way. But it's good.
there's like a nice modular with a barn across the road.
You don't understand the whole.
And I'm pretty sure the State Board of Accounts is, well, there were some with money attached to it. Like we had to do some investigation or something along, there was a blowout that, because the code says you can spend up to $1,500.
No, that's what I mean. It bothers me, but
I think the State Board of Accounts doesn't
think you understand maybe what their angle is.
And also the.
So yeah,
So much easier to
I
get.
mean, in fact, we're getting stuff done. Like once we do Oil of Bowler, and if we do one in Cedar Creek, what's that one that goes in there? Fee Griffin. Yep, crazy.
Eventually it would be, but you're going to have very painful.
If you did it very quick, it'd be.
There aren't a ton. But it was only, they only got it flooded. It was huge. I mean, that was great for the town of Garrett. I mean, there might be many good things. I don't like dreading to come to drainage.
But we've read the minutes. We've read the minutes.
Yeah.
To drive me.
There was one point because Mike Crail, he would ask every, what are you doing about the book? They had a limerick.
All right, it's 9:30 on August 7th, 2025. I'll call this hearing to order. The hearing is to discuss the Irwin-Selke regulated drain number 439-00-0. This meeting is to receive evidence for the following drainage matters. Notices have been filed with the board. Notices were sent by first-class mail to landowners on June 30th, 2025. A public newspaper notice appeared on July 29th, 2025, and the Star. Each person in attendance is requested to write his or her name, address, and name of any group, firm represented on the sign-up sheet at the entrance of the room. If you haven't done so, please do. On May 22nd, 2025, this board approved the reconstruction of the Irwin-Selke drain at the engineer's estimate of $133,964.56. On June 12th, 2025, the surveyor's office called for a public meeting of the board to present new information to the board on the possibility of an alternative, less costly plan for the drain. On June 12th, 2025, the board voted to stay the judicial review period for the reconstruction hearing, which was previously approved. On June 19th, 2025, the board voted to call this hearing to reconsider the approved reconstruction decision and to receive evidence to consider an alternative drainage project. The procedures for conducting this hearing is as follows. Presentation by the surveyor of the alternative plan details, technical questions and answers including landowners' input, evaluation by the board of the path forward including a decision to affirm or dismiss the reconsideration of the reconstruction decision by the board. Lastly, contingent upon the action taken by the board, the amended maintenance hearing portion. The surveyor is requested to open this hearing with any new information to present, including any recommendations for the board. The surveyor has requested to present an amended report for an alternative drain project, which should include an amended assessment roll, drainage plan, and a confirmation of the watershed of any alternative plan.
So after further investigation on their own Selkie, Lauren Wayne has a lot of homes with sump pumps that need tied into a new tile system. So in order to properly serve everyone in this watershed, we'd have to redesign this, allowing a good outlet down Lauren Wayne for all those homes. Therefore, with that increased cost and the increased, or the design changes, we come up with a plan to redo a lot of maintenance on this drain, first starting with over at our rotor pit, removing the problematic willow trees and then replacing that damaged broken tile in the green section. So that green section tile will all be replaced with new tile and the willow trees will be removed, and then we will remove the shrub trees to the west along the property line. And then to the northeast,
Go to the east. There you go.
we're gonna remove that tree there that's right over top of the tile, and then work our way back west. There's a maple tree over the top of the tile in that location as well. Go to page 2. And then further to the north, we will brush and clear the drain right-of-way for preventative maintenance along that section of tile. And then up along the woods, there's another tree that's right on top of the tile that we will also remove. We've gotten quotes to do this work, and with increased maintenance, we feel like we can get all this done and then evaluate the tile from there.
Does any board member or any other person present have questions to ask the surveyor about the technical aspects of the surveyor's amended plan and report?
So just so everybody's clear, the board will consider doing this plan under maintenance. Your annual maintenance fee would be increased per year to pay for it. But then if they're going to do that, then they would have to decide to either affirm or dismiss the reconstruction decision that they made back in May. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's clear on that.
Thank you.
So if anybody has any questions about this plan of the surveyor's office, now's your time.
Does anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of dismissing the reconstruction hearing?
Brent Rittenauer, that first tree you have would be our tree that's coming out, so that makes some sense. That tile worked for years, as it was. I believe you've told us that the willow trees are really what's caused all the problems all along, right? Or somehow those got planted in that property and they've destroyed that. So you're gonna replace that part of the tile? I mean, is it even had integrity at this point?
Where the willow trees are?
Yeah, a green spot, right?
Yep, the green spot. That's why it's going to be relayed. There's so many roots in it. It's caused so many problems, probably so broken down. We're going to relay new plastic through there to really ensure that that part's functioning and it doesn't break down.
You've had to rotor-root that every other year.
Yes.
To keep the thing clear. And that's why I'm wondering if there's even any plastic there. Probably not.
It's clay from before.
Oh, it's clay.
Yeah, it's clay. So I'm sure it's pretty severely
When we bought
damaged.
that property, that's our barn right there. We didn't have any problems for a long time, but Joanne reminded me that flooded for years when her grandmother lived there. But I don't think the sulky tile was the way it is now. So I gotta be honest with you, when we heard the numbers from the other folks last time, we're kind of like, whoa. This is not, for some of these folks, I'm like, that's not even realistic. That's kind of silly. Now Joanne and I's property, we're barely even in this watershed. Most of the water comes to us, but we're not in the watershed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd tell you that, to me, if that fixes that, I've always suspected that green spot right there is the problem. And if you can fix that, and it doesn't cost any of us, and cause anybody in this room harm on their personal wealth, it makes a lot of sense. Let's give it a try. And then if it doesn't work, a year from now, let's have another discussion about it, but it feels like that's the right answer. Yeah. I mean, I'd be in favor of giving it a try. But with the caveat that the county's gotta maintain it. Joanne and I can't be calling every year begging for somebody to come root it out, right? And it usually starts in January, and we usually get it root out in May, you know, and so, yeah.
That was a big consideration, you know, on my part, going forward, if we would do this reconstruction, that's gonna leave the people in that addition in a bad spot.
It's gonna be a mess.
So the whole thing needs to be redone and going forward. And the maintenance, what they're talking, hopefully it maintains it for a good long while, and hopefully it's good.
You'll use plastic, not tile this time, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
double walled or something, yeah. So, look, we have no problem with that. It feels like that's worth the right try. The amounts we were talking about last time just honestly were heartbreaking.
Those aren't even.
I listened to you, and Joanne and I walked out and we're going, I don't know what she's gonna do, and it doesn't feel right.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Speaking in favor?
On West Street, and I live at the very end of Lauren Lane, and supposedly 30 of my acres drain into that drain tile, which isn't a chance in hell. Everything goes downhill from where I'm at. The drain tile goes through a very small portion of Mike's property up front. I have no problem with helping pay for it in a fair amount. I'll pay as much as every one of these guys will that is in that drain tile. I should not have to pay $1,000 a year or $16,000 a year because I have more property. That is not fair, and it should be illegal. But that's my thoughts on it. Like I said, I've got next to no water that even goes into that drain line. And if you look at the topo of my property, look at the numbers, they're there. Everything goes down towards the back of there, and nothing goes up front. Water doesn't run uphill. So I'd just like to be considered as, let's do this thing fair. I like the idea of trying to repair it, but the fact that, you know, all of a sudden I should have to pay $16,000 with no water going into it, or even $1,000, I don't have a problem paying a fair amount. But let's be fair with everybody and be consistent. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of dismissing the reconstruction hearing?
We received a letter from Brooke and Tyler Harrell that I can read if you want. To the DeKalb County Drainage Board. Dear members of the Drainage Board, I'm writing to express my support for the proposed periodic maintenance plan for the Irwin-Selke drain rather than pursuing a full reconstruction at this time. In my view, periodic maintenance is a more responsible and cost-effective approach. It allows the county to preserve and improve the drain's functionality without the significant financial burden and disruption that reconstruction would entail. Regular upkeep will help prevent major issues from developing and extend the life of the existing infrastructure. Importantly, this strategy also provides valuable time for our county surveyor to better understand the unique challenges posed by this drain and its complicated watershed. With a clearer picture of the system's behavior and problem areas, future decisions can be made with greater precision and confidence. In the meantime, this plan offers a path to deliver relief more quickly to those currently affected rather than waiting for a long-term reconstruction process to unfold. I appreciate the board's thoughtful consideration of all options and encourage you to move forward with the maintenance-focused strategy. Thank you for continued service and commitment to responsible drainage management for DeKalb County. Sincerely, Tyler and Brooke Harrell.
Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak against dismissing the reconstruction hearing? The board will now decide on the dismissal or confirmation of the reconsideration of the reconstruction hearing. Does any member desire any further evidence to make a decision? Yeah.
Shannon, I guess, could you please once more reiterate what the state says on this drainage map, specifically that we have to follow the state standard? It's not something we arbitrarily made up, that the state says this is how you will do it.
as far
As
as,
far as
Like,
the acres in the watershed.
like the assessment, the cost, and how we divide out the,
the state says that, the code says that you have to figure out what the watershed is, which our surveyor's office does by LiDAR, by technology, and then that is infused with the property tax and assessor and recorder. All that property information is all fused together, which is where the benefited acres come from as far as what people pay for a maintenance fee. And then Glenn and the surveyor's office have decided how much they think that the annual maintenance of that drain would be, and that's how they have come up with the assessment.
Thank you.
If you need any further information, Shannon, Katie, Becky, Bill? Should this hearing be adjourned or recessed and reconvene at a later date? Jim?
No.
Steve?
no. No.
Should the prior decision made by the board on May 22nd, 2025, for the reconstruction of the drain be dismissed? Jim?
Dismissed? Yes.
Yes. Bill?
Yes. Yes.
Then do we need a motion? Make a motion to dismiss it? I would think.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to dismiss the reconstruction of the drain, the Irwin-Selkie drain, number 439-00-0. Is there any further discussion? Here, no further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the periodic maintenance hearing.
Number 12.
First 12.
The first 12. The decision of the reconstruction hearing has been dismissed and is now vacated. We will now continue with the amended periodic maintenance hearing portion of this hearing. In the amended periodic maintenance report, are all lands, this is questions for a surveyor, did I miss?
You're good.
You're good.
All right. The question to the surveyor, in the amended periodic maintenance report, are all lands within the watershed assessed?
Yes.
Are all benefits assessed, not excessive?
Yes.
Surveyor will report to the board any person who filed a timely written objection of record, and the board shall consider each one separately and make a decision on the objections. Are there any objections?
No.
Are there any persons in favor of the amended maintenance project who want to speak?
I'm Jim Fisher. I live on Lauren Lane. Ours is the big maple tree that'll probably have to come down, unfortunately. But no, we've been having trouble for years where, like every other year, we'd have water standing on our property for a month or so in the spring. And so I'm in favor of the maintenance. I would like to say that across the street, where the tile crosses the street at 7140 Lauren Lane, there is a, right there at the driveway, on the south side of the driveway, there's a piece of tile that is in need of repair right there.
Very good. We
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Back to the willows. I don't know how they got there. I have suspicions, but is there a way with this maintenance? There's got to be a way to prevent, as this area is growing and continuing to grow, keeping people from planting their landscaping over top that tile. Because we're going to be right back to the same place 5 years from now, particularly with trees like willows that just, so how, is there a way to mark the tile or something so that as houses get built, or people do their landscaping, we don't just run into the same problem all again.
We will most likely put it on a spray package. So like we can send a spray rig to spray for all the brush over the tile every other year.
It's not the brush, it's the tree. I mean, it's like, when they got presumably planted that next property over, that's what started this whole mess.
And you're not supposed to plant trees within the right of way of a drain. It's a state law rule, but a lot of people just don't know that. They're not
Maybe
familiar
there's
with
a way
it.
just to put some, if you just had some kind of a piling, you know, we know where ours is because it comes out.
Sure.
And maybe every once in a while, there's a stake or something, or a fence post or something, so people know where that's going.
A good way, if people want to see it they have access to our GIS data online on Beacon Schneider is the website. You can go to DeKalb County on there. A lot of the counties utilize that site. And you can turn on regulated drains, and so you can see all the drains in the county. So that would be one good resource that residents could use to ensure that they're staying away from the drain. Anybody who's looking at a prospective property to purchase or to build on, we always recommend that they look and see where the drains are at, so that way they don't get themselves into a bad situation. I think a lot of times it's not people who are intentionally doing it; they just don't know.
Know better.
So yeah, like you're saying, monitoring the drains is one of our best things that we can do. Now we do have 400 and something drains in the county with, I don't remember how many miles, but it's a lot. So to go over every drain ensuring no trees are planted within it is really difficult. But in some of the more residential areas, like what we have here.
And you have to assume it's going to continue exploding to the west.
Yep.
From Lauren Lane over, that you know full well it's going to develop, and it's going to go right over that right over.
Fort Wayne will be here before we know it.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so yeah, that's something we'll keep an eye on and want to monitor. I know that there's one of the properties along the drain that just planted some new trees that are going to be within the right of way. So we'll have to relocate those trees for them to get them away from the drain, and try to stay on that. I know along those willows, there's some voluntary mulberry trees that are coming. So willows and mulberry trees are two of them that we experience the most getting into our drain. They like growing near the drains, and their roots really seek it out and get down in there. So we'll want to remove. That's why along that property line to the west of that Roto-Rooter pit, where I remarked that we're going to remove a lot of the brushy trees. Several of those are mulberry trees that are growing in there, and so they'll find their way in. So
Good plan.
Yep.
I guess real quick, is everybody clear on what the amended periodic maintenance is?
Well, that's what I was going to say. In favor of that, I feel like we should probably read the surveyor's report. Is this a fine time to do that?
Yep, let's do that.
Okay.
Then I'll go back to questions for.
So the Irwin-Selkie drain number 439-00-0 maintenance rate increase. It was previously $6.50 per acre. We're proposing $13 an acre. Previous annual collection was $2,541.56. The proposed annual collection will be $5,083.12. Watershed acreage is 245.25 acres. Problematic trees within the right-of-way of the Irwin-Selkie drain have created several issues in recent years, from substantial root ball obstructions within the tile. This had led to repeated damaged tiles and footing within residential parcels. Proposed increase to the maintenance rate will provide an adequate amount of funding to remove several problematic trees, replace broken and damaged tile, and support proper upkeep of the system for future issues that may arise. The surveyor's office has proposed raising the base rate by $6.50, bringing the current maintenance rate from $6.50 an acre to proposed $13 an acre. This will increase the annual funding from $2,541.56 to $5,083.12. Following the state drainage code, ag will be the base rate, residential will be twice the base rate, and commercial will be 3 times the base rate. Hearing notices containing this proposed information were delivered to the residents of the Irwin-Selkie watershed.
Hearing that, anybody else want to speak in favor of the amended maintenance project? Is there anybody else that'd like to speak against the amended maintenance project?
So they're saying that, what, $5,000 a year needs to be collected to support this? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why I have to pay a fifth of that bill, $1,000?
Well, it comes down to just your acreage within the watershed.
Even though nothing drains into it, I mean, I'm willing to pay
Turn your overland flow on.
a fair amount with
Sure.
everyone in the watershed, but
Sure.
I don't
We-
feel like I should have to pay a fifth of it.
Okay. So how we generate that is from LiDAR data, right? It takes the topography of the ground and which way it all slopes. So those yellow lines that we just turned on, so I guess first I start, the blue shaded area is the watershed. So that's everywhere that water is going to go into this system. The yellow lines are the overland flow paths, so that's the direction the water will flow. There we go, perfect. Yep, that's the way the water will flow. Zoom in there, Troy, on his parcel. It's right up in the middle, yep, right up in there. So it shows it flows to the southwest into your big pond that's in the southwest corner there, which then releases to the tile.
Three-quarters of my property actually goes down to a very low area, which is like 20 feet, 30 feet below my house level. I mean, I can understand, yeah, if it was overflow of the pond, but I don't see why I should have to pay a fifth of it. I mean,
How many acres do you own in the watershed?
they're saying 29.9.
All of it, yeah.
29.9.
And what rate am I being charged?
So
$13 an acre or
$13 an acre.
Residential.
$13 an acre for the maintenance.
So $13 times
$388.
would be how much?
$388.70.
How come I got a statement saying that mine's gonna be 1,166?
Is it ag land or how's yours? Ag or residential?
I live out there. I have a couple ponds, you know, the water doesn't drain uphill.
Is it ag or residential, your property?
Residential, as far as I know.
Probably
So it's gonna be more.
So it should be $777.
It'd be $26 an acre because it's residential. Yep, $777.40.
So this is something that can be amended to be fair?
That is the fairest way we have to do it. I mean, so all of our data is telling us that that's where the water goes. I know you're saying that it flows downhill a different direction,
Well,
but there's not really anything indicative of that using the LiDAR data that we have.
you guys have a topo, you know where the low, I mean, there's,
Sure, that's what that is. It's showing you which way the water's flowing.
Yeah, that's derived from the topographical information.
well,
And if
I
I
think if you-
understand correctly, this is what the state mandates that we, as a board, have to use. This isn't something that the surveyor or any of us arbitrarily came
I
up
don't
with.
have a problem with helping pay for everyone. I just think it should be fair, and I don't think it's a fair number. I don't know, Tyler, what?
What would be a fair suggestion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Ours is all agriculture. It goes in, mine is that.
But what would you like to see, I guess? Because you keep saying you want to see it fair. What's your suggestion? What would be a fair way to do it?
Well, how many people are in the watershed area that are being affected? And take that $5,000 number and split it fairly with all those people paying the same amount.
You want to divide per person rather than per acreage.
Sure, that's fair. I mean,
I don't know if that would be fair necessarily because the more acreage you have, the more water you're going to contribute to the drain. So that's why state statutes makes us set it up that way on that per acre basis.
yeah. I think if anyone was out of my property and they took a look at it, there's no way that 30 acres drains into that, but
Where's
I can't fight what they say, so.
where's the water in your property go?
I've got 2 ponds in the back. I've got a low area that's a mowed area. I've got 10 acres of woods back there that water sits in. It doesn't go uphill. I mean, property here, everything's down here. I don't see how water can flow that way.
You speaking on the north side of your ponds?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, so that woods back in there is part of that other discussion we had previously about how overland flows all the way to the west and then comes in down to the bottom end, right? That's where we're going back and forth on if that water is part of the system or not.
yeah. Well, I have water that sits in the woods whenever it doesn't go anywhere.
Yep.
So I don't know why I'm just getting charged for more than a fair amount, is what I feel. I just wish they'd, maybe take an assessment and take a look and say, let's just be fair. I'm all for paying it, I just want it to be fair.
Are there any further questions or comments from any person present? The board now begins the decision-making process. Should the schedule of amended periodic maintenance assessment presented in this hearing be changed?
No.
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 Should the surveyor's report for the amended periodic maintenance be approved as finally presented?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Does any member desire any further evidence to make a decision?
No.
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 No. Should the hearing be adjourned or recessed and reconvene at a later date?
No.
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 Now I'll ask the attorney to review proposed findings of fact for the board to consider.
The board will make the proposed findings of fact for the amended periodic maintenance for this drain. That the public hearing has been and is being recorded in digital form. That the surveyor's fact sheet shall be accepted as part of evidence and the facts thereon are true. That the drain has been classified and previously placed on the priority list of the long-range plan of the board. That there are no damages to any landowner. That none of the benefit factors of Section 112 of the Indiana County Drainage Board Code have been excluded. That all landowners who receive notices of the proposed assessment have lands within the watershed. Notices by mail and by newspaper have been properly and timely made as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code for a public hearing. That any and all assessments are paid at the same base rate per acre. Actually, that's not true, right? Hold on. That's for reconstruction. I had the wrong form, I apologize. That the surveyor's report with maps and drawings to the board is received as evidence and approved by the board and the facts thereon are found to be true. That all lands included in the watershed are assessed. That no lands outside the watershed are assessed. That none of the benefits assessed against any landowner have been excessively applied. That no further evidence was required for the board to make a decision. That all persons desiring to speak have been permitted to present their evidence orally or in writing. That there were no timely objections filed with the board. That all persons present have been given adequate opportunity to ask questions of the surveyor of the board or any other person present. No person has objected to the procedure of the board during this hearing. That the board has jurisdiction over this drain. That the drain requires amended periodic maintenance. That there has been no evidence that this drain needs to be combined with another drain. That this drain can be made to perform the function for which it was designed and constructed, and to properly drain all affected land under current conditions by periodically cleaning it, spraying it, removing obstructions from it, and making minor repairs for it. That the board has decided that this drain at this time does not need to be reconstructed, and that the reconstruction hearing is hereby the reconstruction hearing decision made on May 22nd, 2025 is hereby vacated. That there has been no credible evidence presented to the board to vacate the drain. That there's been no evidence that the drain has been abandoned by the board. That the board receives all relevant documentation in the files of the surveyor and the board regarding this case and have put that into evidence. That the board adopts the schedule of assessments as filed by the surveyor. That the administrative assistant of the board shall publish the notice of the board's final order as required by the code. And that the final order form of the board is approved for this drain. That would be the findings of fact, unless the board has anything else to add.
Very good, thank you, Shannon. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the finding of facts?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the finding of facts. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. The chair asks for a motion to adopt, or in the alternative, a motion to dismiss the hearing for the amended periodic maintenance of said drain subject to the jurisdiction of the board.
I move for the board to adopt the surveyor's report and order the amended periodic maintenance of said drain subject to the jurisdiction of the board.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the periodic maintenance as presented, and approved by the surveyor's office. Is there any further discussion? Here, no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. I now announce that the board has approved these findings and ordered the drainage project with instructions to the administrative assistants of the board to publish notice of the findings in order. Good. If there are no objections, this meeting will stand adjourned. If there are no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Finish your order. We didn't finish the order.
We didn't?
Paragraph 20.
Good job, Bruce. I know it wasn't perfect, that what we had for you.
You didn't finish your order.
Huh?
You didn't finish your, I think I didn't know what to put.
You're still recording.
Hey, get us off the air.
We are.
Do we have any editing? Anybody to edit these?
They go raw footage, right?
They do kind of need